It was just another Sunday. Nothing unusual. Coffee steaming in our mugs, soft music playing from her phone, and the faint smell of clean laundry in the air. We were folding clothes side by side. One of those simple, peaceful moments that usually brings comfort. That's when she said it, as casually as if she were commenting on the weather. Sometimes I wonder if I should have ended up with Daniel instead. I didn't register it right away. I actually waited for her to laugh, maybe give that half smile she wore when she was joking. But she didn't. She kept folding the towel, eyes lowered, her voice relaxed, like she was simply voicing a passing thought. I turned to her, stunned. "What did you just say?" She didn't blink. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "I just think maybe life would have been simpler. Daniel made me feel seen. He had drive. He never settled, not like this." Her hand swept across the space around us. Our house, our quiet little life, built from years of effort and compromise. I didn't reply. I just stared, feeling something twist tightly in my chest until it hurt. I walked away, went downstairs. Told myself I was reading too much into it. Maybe I had misunderstood. But she never came after me. Never tried to explain. Never said she didn't mean it. Nothing. That night, I slept on the couch. Not because she asked, but because the distance between us had suddenly grown too wide to cross. Lying there, I kept thinking about Daniel, wondering how many times she compared me to him. Silently. Daniel, the golden boy from her college years, the one with the charm and big dreams that never quite stuck. He disappeared after graduation, left without a word to take a job overseas. I remembered how she cried in my arms back then. Heartbroken. And yet, years later, in the middle of folding laundry, she tells me she might have picked him if life had gone differently. Something shifted in me that day. I talked less, worked later. Sometimes I'd sit in the driveway, engine running, giving myself extra time to put on a smile before stepping inside. She noticed. Of course she did. She'd ask what was wrong. I'd shrug, say it was nothing. But it wasn't nothing. I was quietly detaching, not with fights or harsh words, but by slowly building walls. I stopped confiding in her, stopped sharing the small things. I didn't laugh as much, and neither did she. Our dinners turned into silent routines. We looked like strangers sharing a meal. And Daniel, the memory of him, grew larger between us, even though he wasn't physically there. I felt smaller in his shadow. Then one night, she came home late, hours past dinner. No text, no call. I waited. She finally walked in around 10, looking anxious, uneasy. Said she'd run into an old friend and had drinks. She didn't say his name. She didn't have to. Was it him? I asked. She nodded. I didn't respond. I just packed a small bag, not because I was furious, but because I had nothing left in me to give. I told her, maybe you need time to figure out what you really want. She looked like she wanted to say something, but I cut her off. I'm not mad, I said. I'm just done. And I left. No shouting, no dramatic scene, just silence. I stayed with a friend for a while before finding a temporary place. She called a few times, sent a message trying to explain, said it came out wrong. I didn't respond. And in the quiet that followed, I felt something unexpected. Relief. Yes, I felt lonely, but also I felt free. I started getting up early again, went for runs, cooked my own meals. I began to remember who I was before I twisted myself to fit into someone else's life. I saw, clearly, how much of myself I'd compromised, how long I'd been trying to be enough for someone who always kept one eye on the door, wondering what might be better out there. Months passed. I filed for separation. No bitterness. No theatrics. Just space. Then one day, without warning, she showed up at my door. She looked different, worn out, like someone who had done a lot of thinking. She told me she'd seen him again. Daniel. Said they didn't even speak, just passed each other. Said he hadn't changed. Still smooth. Still chasing the next glittering thing he could never quite catch. Then she looked at me, tears in her eyes. I was wrong, she said. I thought I wanted excitement. I wanted to feel desired. But what we had, that was real. You were there. You stayed. And I broke that. And I believed her. I truly did. But sometimes understanding comes too late. Because by the time someone finally sees your value, you've already learned how to live without needing their approval. I didn't hate her. I couldn't. But I wasn't the man standing in that kitchen all those months ago, hurt, waiting for reassurance. I had changed, and I didn't want to go back to the version of myself who had to fight to be loved. So I told her, I'm glad you understand now, but I'm not coming back. She collapsed at the doorstep, crying. I didn't close the door in anger. I shut it with calm, almost gently, because for the first time, I wasn't holding on. I was choosing peace for the man I'd finally become, the one who stopped begging to be seen.